Yes, sir. Welcome back to Business After Business. I am your host, Commissioner Gordon. We are live at Zuli's Taco Kitchen right here, heart of College Park on Virginia Avenue. And joining me now, as always, my dog, let Mojo handle it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I don't care how I look.
I just want my picture taken.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, listen. Tell me about the song, man. You gaining steam, dog. It's on the way. You about out of here, Mojo.
Man, listen, man. I received that, man. I received that, man. It is doing real well, man. YouTube over 10,000. TikTok over 20,000. So we filling up the parking lot, man. Letting everybody know we got a party going on, man. But yeah, big shout out to Cujo Goody and MC Shy D, and all my crew, man. But so far the song is it's catching on.
Right.
We working it. We're working it, man.
And I know before when we had you on, we were talking about a lot of history with rap in Atlanta, rap in general, hip hop in general. Let's bring that forward and talk about like working a record early as opposed to working a record now. What's the similarities? What's the differences? How do you go about it?
I mean, there's two words that sums it all up: social media. And I always say that that's one thing that people have now is social media, in which I didn't have that in '82. I always say this was you, this was two. And back then, you had to. I mean, I was at a location 7 days a week.
Right.
You had to be out. You had to be upfront with people. And you had to. It wasn't an event going on in Atlanta that I was not there because I had to be there.
Right.
Whereas now you got social media, which is a good thing because I can promote myself while I'm asleep. And
Exactly.
as opposed to you had to physically be in there. So that that's the difference as far as the promoting part.
Yeah. And also I can imagine that also helps with collabing with artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you had to physically be there in the studio.
True. That is so true.
Now I can just send you a verse. You can put it up on that beat,
right?
And you can have a song tonight.
Right. I mean, it's it's so easy. I hate to use that word easy, but it compared to where it was back in early '80s and before, it was just like my first song, Let Mojo Handle It.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing was done. I mean, everything that was done on that song was done in a studio.
Right.
With live instruments, live drummer, live bass player, live keyboard player. Big shout out to Ambrick from the band Brick. He passed away a few years ago, and he's the keyboard player on Let Mojo Handle It. And also Skin from SOS Band.
Okay.
He's playing bass on that song. So I had all live instruments. We all created the song right there in the studio. And I mean, just like you say, now you can, I like with my picture took. When I went in the studio, I never saw Cujo. I never saw Shadi. You know what I mean? I didn't see them till we did the video, actually, because everything was done through email.
And in case you don't know, Mojo is the first hip hop artist, rapper out of Atlanta. Just in case this is our part 2, go back and check out part 1 and catch up on the history of things that we talked about a little earlier. But bringing it back forward, you not only working one record, you working a bunch of records, man. You got your boots on the ground, you got your Southern Soul, and you got your fingers in a bunch of them, man. You going all over.
Well, it was funny that you say that because when I did that first song with Kilo, when me and Kilo went in the studio, we did that first song, and that's what really, put a little fire up under me to get back, to really kind of get back in the groove. And when I did that song, I never forget. DJ Jelly was telling me, he said, "Yeah, man, keep them coming, man, keep them coming." Like, keep them coming? What you mean? Keep them coming?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Now you gotta.
Yeah, you got to keep them coming. And I've learned that, and even with dealing with social media, there's a big word that I'm learning more and more every day, and it's called algorithm. So it took me a while to figure out algorithm and how to apply it and how to make it work for you.
Right.
But luckily, good thing that I am getting more into the algorithm. Much as if you keep putting out content, the more you'll get the algorithm.
Well, in looking at it, it works similar to the way that you were talking about before. So what it is you're physically someplace every day, but now you don't physically have to be there, but you still have to work it every single day.
Yeah, you got to work it. Ain't nobody gonna do it for you.
You still got to work it. So the consistency has to continue to be there.
Yeah.
It's just how you're working is different.
Yeah, how you working is different. I can do a lot. If I can reach 500 people sitting on my couch, that's a good day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you go to sleep and you got 10,000 views, and you wake up the next morning, you got 10,000.5.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's
at 10.5K.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's 500 that you got while you sleep.
Right.
You see? So it's but I still think that I'm still I still think being personal is better. You know what I mean? Than just like now, we don't even talk on the phone anymore. We text. So we're getting far and far away from being personal.
But that means something to a lot of fans, like to a core group of fans, having that ability to talk, to touch, to be at physical shows outside of just YouTube. That does mean something to a lot of the fans.
Oh yeah. Because they feel. That's why today, I just don't figure out how people still know me from 40 years ago. You know what I mean? From 1982.
Right.
But that is some of the reason why, because I was physically out there amongst people. Big shout out to Larry Tinsley and WLK. We used to have the road shows back in the early 80s, and I remember Jelly was Jelly. I was talking with Jelly, and he was like, "What was the road shows?" I was like, it's like every week we went to a different either apartment complex like Bun Home, Bankhead Court. We either go there or we go to a park, Matters Park, Mosley Park, Pittsburgh Park. We would go to a park every Tuesday, and they would just pull up a stage and we put on a road show, and they was big. It was a big deal back then, But
that would actually be a dope idea for an artist now. Like, if you're trying to get out in these streets and get your name known, man. Yeah, it's one thing to work that social media, but it's another thing to actually get out and get out in the field, so to speak,
right,
and put up a show and let people see what you all about up close and personal.
Right. Yes, I think that's the best way, because then people feel like they feel like they actually know you, you know. I heard somebody say this, and I live by this motto too: treat superstars like normal people, and treat normal people like superstars. So that's the way I am, man.
Well, and with that, your fans become invested. Because they feel like when you feel like you know a person, you become invested in their success.
Right.
And you want to see them win, as opposed to, oh man, forget dude. I tried to say what's up to him, and he walked right past me, slapped my hand out the way, whatever. people feel like they want to be a part of your success, so they'll do anything that they can
Right.
to get you to where you want to be.
Right. And it's like, when I'm at the gym at LA Fitness, it just I be around so many people, and we just carry on. And then when they find out about my my career, they be like, why didn't you never said anything about you was the first rapper in Atlanta? You never said. I said, man, what am I supposed to do?
Put it on the business card.
You know what I mean?
First rapper in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on my head. I'm coming in here, I'm coming in here to socialize, just be with people. But now, if you ask me about my career, we can sit down and I tell you the whole story.
So right now, today, you got songs that are blowing up. You are in, markets across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a tour coming up?
Well, I received that. I received that, man. To be honest with you, man, I take it one day at a time. And one thing about it, I worked in the private sector for many years, and then I retired from the private sector. So now I'm just fully committed to my craft. This is the only thing I know to do. I don't know what's the square root of 20 years. I don't know none of. I don't know how to do numbers. I don't know none of that. I don't know how to work on the cars. I don't know how to cut nobody's hair. I just know music. so that's all I do now, and I what the good Lord has in store for me, I don't know, Commissioner, but whatever is in store, man, I just walk in grace, man.
What is in store? Cadillac Chronicles coming up.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Matter of fact, it's getting ready to come up as we speak.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun.
Now, how was that going through that process?
The way it came to me, it came to me, just by some people talking, and they said, "Hey, man, I know Mojo." Oh, okay, I've been, So when I went to do it, Brian, he's the guy that's his company, and he had told me that he had just read something about me like 6 weeks ago or 6 months ago.
Mm.
He had read something about me because he's from Jersey, and so he's just trying to find his history here in Atlanta. And he had heard something about me. So when he heard the conversation and he said Mojo, so then he invited me down to take a ride around the city of Atlanta. That was cool, man. I told her when I got in the Cadillac, I said, man, this is a hot seat, boy, because man, so many folks have been in that seat, boy.
It has been celebrities, but I know you got in there, you showed out.
Oh, well, you already know now. You know we showed out there. Yeah, man, but it was a real good experience, man. Big shout out to Brian. Cadillac
Chronicles, yes, sir. Tell me about, speaking of going back and performing and showing out, how is the crowd receiving you? Like, what's the difference in the crowd today as opposed to 40 years ago? So I told you, I already know, you put on the show.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the crowd reaction? Do you still feel that same love from the crowd? Because now, one of the biggest things that's going on is when people talk about the club and how people acting at the club, you don't have people dancing no more like they used to. Are they at your shows still dancing, or is everybody on their phone?
Well, I hadn't, the few shows I have done, they've been interacting, and I can say right now, a big difference from now for as crowd reaction, and from now and back in the 80s, you had to pull the crowd, throw your hands in the air. Okay, let me hear you say ho, ho. But see, now you don't have to say, you just start singing and they start singing with you.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The crowd just pretty much catch on.
They know.
Yeah, and you don't have to pull them in. You know what I mean? Just like now, like I was doing my picture took at a show. And and I said, and I just want my, and everybody in the crowd said, I just want my picture. So I was like, oh, okay. I ain't even have to ask them to say it.
So they already know what to do.
Yeah, so that's it's just like with Kilo, hope he's doing well. He has some health problems, big shout out and prayers
Shout out
to
to Kilo Ali. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and he did a show one time. We was at the I think at Wolf Creek, and of course he was not, his movement is limited. So when he went out on stage and did his show, he stood in one spot and did his show with him. But I was like, that's all he had to do because the crowd sung every song for him.
Right.
So that's the biggest difference now. The crowd is like, I mean, they know your song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And going back through and looking back, man, from where you started to where Atlanta is today, how does that make you feel? Like, what do you feel? Are you proud of the way the movement that's started in the city, or how does that make you feel in terms of where from 1982 to 2025? What is the feeling of the state of hip hop in Atlanta?
Well, I mean, whoever thought that it would even be this way? Okay, 82. Okay, nobody in Atlanta was rapping. Nobody in Atlanta was rapping in 1982. Like I said last time, everybody was still doing Prince and Michael Jackson. But when I, when I came out, nobody in Atlanta was rapping 1982. So, of course I had to take all the beef from the New Yorkers.
Right. Because
they felt that I was biting on what they had created, and the riff that I had, I didn't have riff, they had riff with me. Mm-hmm. Be it this was not your rappers, this was not Curtis Blow, who I was good friends with, this was not Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, Houdini, Fat Boys, it was none of them. They was real kind to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I opened for them here in Atlanta. Because when they came to Atlanta, they were like, who is the hottest person in Atlanta? Oh, we got Mojo. So I would be the opening act for all of it. Every time anybody came from New York to Atlanta, I would open for them. Mm-hmm. So I had no problem with them. It was the people, just the people from New York.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That felt like they could say whatever they wanted to say to me, But see, and so that and of course it was only 900,000 people in Atlanta in 1982. If you go to the Darlington down on Piedmont, down across from Piedmont Hospital, that sign said 900,800 1982. Today, what that sign say? 6 million?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Right.
That's the biggest difference. 1982, 2025, 6 million. And we so we wanted to make Atlanta just like anywhere else back then. We was trying to do what New York was doing, and whoever thought that Atlanta would blow up like it did? Who would have thought it? I never thought, even during the 80s, I never thought that I was the first rapper in Atlanta. But as time passed, and people like, okay, you were the, oh, okay, you were, I was, but
who throughout the history, who outside of yourself, who is your favorite Atlanta artist?
My favorite Atlanta artist?
Yes.
Well, I'll put it like this. Of course, all my guys from the 80s. Raheem, Sadiq, Sammy Sam, D-Rock, all them guys from the 80s. You know what I mean? All them my guys. Of course, Kilo came in the 90s. Mm-hmm. But, I have to, and you have to take your hats off for what Cujo and the Goody Mob and Outkast, what they did to put the city on another level. You know, so big shouts to Goody Mob and Outkast. You know, because they are the ones that really put the spotlight on Atlanta for its hip hop.
Right. South
And
got
of
something to
course,
say.
South got something to say, you know, and that was, you know, that was just, you know, people don't, if you never been in that situation, you never know what that feels like, man. You know, and I had it happen to me, you know, here in Atlanta. But it wasn't the Atlanta people that did it to me. It was the New York people that was here for the Fresh Festival, you know. And I was not even performing. They just called my name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was, you know, Jam Master Jay was setting up the turntables on stage. Casual Cal was MCing. Yeah, we got Mojo in the house. Mojo is in the house. Next thing you know, boo. And it all came from that New York section.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way they felt about me. You know, which is cool. That's why I tell people now, you know, especially all these Atlanta rappers that's out here, that's doing their thing now, that's getting their bag. I took the blows for Atlanta to become the hip hop that it is now, because I was the first. So that means I had to deal with the worst. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I had to deal with the people from New York not accepting that hip hop was anywhere else besides New York. You know, and luckily, people after me, people grabbed the torch, and they kept passing the torch. You know, from Shadi to Raheem to Sammy Sam, D-Rock, all those guys, they are Success in Effect. You know, so all those guys just started passing the torch, and here we are.
So speaking of passing the torch, any advice? You got a young guy that's out here, or I won't even say young guy, you have an inexperienced artist trying to make it in the game. What advice would you give them?
Well, number one, you have all the tools there for you. Set there for you. And people don't like the advice that I give, but the first thing I tell people, especially if you 19, 20, 21 years old, I understand you love the music business and this is what you want to do. But I always tell people, get your plan B. You know, because if you don't have a plan B, so when I tell people, hey man, get your little job, man. Just get your little job, get your little money flowing so you can promote yourself. And you don't have to go to people and ask them. You don't have to go to the drug dealer. Ask him, hey man, you got some money you want to invest in me? Go and work, get you a job. Mm-hmm. But some people look at the wrong when I say it, because I know how I felt. Get a job, man. What are you talking about, man? I'm doing my thing, So it's nothing wrong with having your own money.
Right.
And that's what I mean when I say get a job. I don't mean give up on your dream.
Right.
I don't mean that at all. But this will help you, because now with the way everything is set up now, you can move around a lot. Just like now you got campaigns on these social media, you got campaigns on YouTube, you got campaigns on TikTok, you got campaigns on Meta. But in order to campaign, you got to spend some money.
Exactly.
You see? Mm-hmm. And I try to explain to these people, if I got a video and you got a video and we both put our video on YouTube, and I spend some money with YouTube and you don't spend no money with YouTube, whose video you think gonna get shown on YouTube?
They're gonna always follow the money.
I mean, it's not a lot of money.
Right.
I'm not a millionaire. I'm not nowhere near a millionaire, and I'm just saying, this is what you want to do. You want to get your stuff out there. You want to get known. You got the tools here for you, but you need a little cash flow. You need some coin.
So I got one, man, and this has been kind of, it was messing with me a little early. I was listening to some people, and it keeps coming up. And I wanted to get your opinion on it. When people say the phrase, hip hop is a young man's game,
Okay.
I often buck back at that just simply because, like you just said, hip hop turned 50 recently, not too long ago, a couple years back. But it was only a young man's game, in my opinion. It was only a young man's game because it was a young game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now that hip hop is 50, you have generations, plural, that have grown up with hip hop, and they want to see their favorite artists as they're older. So now you have artists like the Clips. You have artists like Raekwon just had some stuff come out. You have a lot of artists that are coming out in their 30s, 40s, you know, so even in their 50s, and they're coming out and they're making music still. But the young crowd say, "Oh man, hip hop, man, you stick
Yeah, I
to
understand.
that the young boys
Okay.
have."
And I mean that's that's not only with hip hop. That's pretty much in everything. You know, you talk about attrition. You know, I mean even with sports and everything. You know, after a certain time they say, "Oh, you need to give it up," and but. It's as you was just talking, I was picturing at what you were saying, and picturing that what you were saying in my mind, and what it is that all of us, we was young when hip hop started.
Right.
So in 1982, there was nobody in their 30s doing hip hop. You know what I mean? In 1982 through in the 80s, we were all young. I was 18 in 1982. So we were all young and we grew up and we just have grown up with the hip hop. You know what I mean? And we see the way the hip hop changed. We see which way it's going, but it's no age limit. I didn't wake up one day and somebody said, "Hey Mojo, you got an expiration date." You know what I mean? I don't have an expiration date. My expiration date is when I close my eye for good. And I don't think music should, if music is first of all, it's universal. It's universal, and then music lasts forever, man.
And that's the thing. Like when you compare it to sports. In sports, yes, you do have an expiration date because your body.
That's right.
It's you know what I'm saying? You can't run as fast, you can't jump as high, you can't hit as hard or throw as far.
Right.
You can't do those things, but your mind, as you get older, can continuously stay sharp.
Yeah.
And so the music can continue. It doesn't just because you've reached a certain age doesn't mean that you have to walk away and say, you know what?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make people, if I can make something, I have people in here doing like this, I'm good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you said something about the dance flow and the party scene, and that's something else people come to me, man. Yeah, I like your song, man, because it's got that kind of make that party like, back to the party scene, and nothing against Southern Soul and all this what they do, but I would like to walk in a club or one side and see couples on the dance floor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of a group on the dance floor and everybody doing the same thing, so it becomes a show. It's a show. And where's the party at? You know what I mean? Where's the party at? You know what I mean? So I would love to get back to that type of just good party couples.
Yeah. You heard Mojo, man. Get your ass back on the dance floor.
Yeah. Grab a girl, man. Come on, man.
Don't be scared to holler at her.
Yeah. And see, then with all this, with all these things they do now, with these days dance things they do. Hey, if you don't know how to do it, you're not gonna get on the floor.
You're on the sideline.
You're on the sideline. If you don't know how to do it, and that's why I like the party, because like I say, if you don't know how to do the dance step, you ain't gonna get up there on the floor and embarrass yourself. But I mean, dancing and partying should be free will.
Right.
You know what I mean? Come on, baby, get up. I don't know how to dance. Yes, you do.
Now you know how to move. Well, listen,
Yes, you do.
shout out. Let them know every place they can find Mojo, social media, all streaming platforms. Let them know where they can find it because I don't care how I look.
I just want my picture took, and you can find that at you can look that up on YouTube. I just want my picture took. Also, Mojo Boots. You can look both of them up on YouTube. On Instagram is Mojo Handle It. Mojo Handle It. You'll see my check mark to confirm that it is me. Of course, I use my government name on Facebook, which is Edwin Lyons. Don't tell nobody. That's just between me and you. You know, to you is Mojo. It is. Keep that right. But the government is Edwin Lyons on Facebook. But like I say, Mojo Handle It. And TikTok is Mojo, I think 1006, something like that. But just put in Mojo and look for me, Mojo Atlanta. And big shout out, once again, shout out to Jelly. Big shout out to the Hip Hop Museum that's coming up next year in South Bronx. They trying to get me to get all of my artifacts together to send up there. And
that's major.
And I'm kind of like, I'm looking at my walls in my house, and of course my walls are full with plaques and everything, and I'm trying to think, and I showed Jelly, you know, my wax, my actual wax that I have, and I think I'm gonna end up giving it to the museum. Yeah, because what I'm, you know, it's an honor to be in there, and I think some of my stuff will do better on their walls than on my wall. You know, it's gonna be hard for me to take some of my stuff down there. Just
give it up. Yeah,
you know what I mean? But when I think about it, you know, I mean, I'm on the back nine of life, so you know, when I'm gone, if I leave them in my house, they might end up in a landfill. You know what I mean?
You want it to be preserved.
You see what I'm saying?
And it deserves to be put in the museum, where people can see, they can know, they can understand what Mojo meant to the city. Because Mojo, I want to thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man. You know thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
It's the backbone, sir.
Thank you for all that you've done for the city.
Man, thank you.
For getting this ball to be rolling, man. Just so we can have the hip hop that we have today in Atlanta, because we've gone from, like you just said, from people hating, whether it's New York or anywhere else, people hating on what Atlanta has become, to now they can't stop talking about what Atlanta is doing.
And they trying to get here.
Yes. Every single
I
day.
mean, it's nobody left in Memphis. Nobody left.
We full, man. We full.
Hey, man, well, we full, man. But we're not closed for business, though.
Exactly, that part.
We're not closed for business, but we full, man.
So check him out. Cadillac Chronicles.
That's right, coming any day now. Matter of fact, it should be dropping anytime. Sometime this week is what I was told. This week, Cadillac Chronicles will be on all platforms, including YouTube, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Get to ride through my city. Everybody else coming through here riding through my city, so I get to ride through my city.
So again, we appreciate you, Mojo, man. Much love, respect as always.
Man, always, man.
And anytime you guys want to follow through, just know that we are at Zuby's Taco Kitchen.
Zuby's!
Right here in College Park on Virginia Avenue. I am Commissioner Gordon. This is Business After Business. Come and see us.
Boom!